here we are at SSW3 and I've just grabbed DJ Spinna off the decks.
Are you filming right now?
We're filming right now.
Okay.
So by all that, you've just flown in?
Somewhat. I actually took the train from London today. Yeah. Flew in yesterday. And just finished rocking here at the Scottish weekender.
So you've done Southport then?
Oh, tons of times.
Tons of times,
yeah. More times than I can remember.
So have you done Southport Now It's Minehead? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So can you compare the crowd? Do you think the crowds are?
Very similar. But I find, I said this in an interview previously, I said, I feel like the more north you go, the deeper it gets.
Right.
And I feel like, I've always felt like Scotland, they just, the people here just go a little deeper. They go harder, and it's just raw energy, The crowd was crazy tonight. It was really great. And I played twice. The first room, it was empty, the blue room when I started, and I started off with like 90s classics, 90s house, New York style, and little by little the room just started filling in, and it was a crescendo. By the time I was done, it was like on tilt, and it went by really quickly. I only played for like an hour and a half, but it felt like I was playing longer.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the blue rooms.
I almost went into the other guy's time. I had to like cut myself.
Cut yourself off.
Yeah.
I hate doing that. When you're on the roll.
When you're into what you do, sometimes you lose track of time. It happens.
Yeah. Well, a massive track that you did was the Days Like This. Does it haunt you?
Yeah, it kind of haunts me. Actually, it's funny because DJ Spin is he acquired a license to do remixes. So, and it was actually my idea. We kind of put our heads together because he wanted to do a cover originally, and I said, you know what? Why don't we legitimately do it with the original vocals, because that's a timeless record. It's over 10 years old, and the most requested record that I get when I'm doing my house sets, is that record, and people always, I'm surprised I didn't play it tonight. So he's decided to remix the original vocal, and I am going to do an updated version.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So when are we going to get to
It's underway. I've already started. I've been taking my time with it because it's really hard to redo a classic, but I'm taking my time.
Taking your time.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. But I would say we're in November now. Let's look out for it by the top of 2014.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I'll have to keep. So will that be sort of like download?
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah, definitely.
Not on vinyl.
I don't think it will be on vinyl. Spin hasn't been pressing much records these days, but it should be out on Quantize on his label.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's nice to have.
I still love records. I still buy vinyl. I still, have. It's embedded in my DNA. I've been buying records forever, since I was, a little boy. And I miss that. I miss going to record shops and, having that experience of listening to the music in the store, being introduced to you by the DJ behind the counter who knows your taste, and, mingling with other DJs that come into the store that are there for the same reason, and you kind of swap ideas and swap knowledge and, share similar tastes of records, and just picking that record up off the shelf, and I miss all of it.
You miss all of that?
I miss it, I really do. Sometimes, with the digital thing, it's so much information online, and if you're not navigating properly, you just get lost. The music gets lost. With records, it was always something to hold on to, identifying the music in the crate. Sometimes I wouldn't even know the artist's name or the title of a record, but I'll know what it is and how it sounds by the jacket, by the artwork, and by the label, and So with the digital world, the way it is, it's just letters.
Yes.
And you really gotta have something to attach the music to your brain. Like you have to, when you read it, you gotta remember what it is, and sometimes it's a little hard to remember that stuff. But yeah, vinyl lives.
Well, I went to New York a couple of years ago on a mission to go to find record shops.
Yeah.
And I did. When we were there, it was like, cause I just got lost in them. Totally got lost in them.
Yeah. I mean, I travel a lot, and one of my main goals when I'm on the road is to buy vinyl.
Right.
I know here in the UK, Great Britain, vinyl still matters in certain circles, and there's still a lot of great shops as well. I love buying records when I'm traveling because you see things that you don't see at home in the States. And even back in the day, like, when I was first started doing club dates and stuff and going to the dance shops, the dance stores, a lot of DJs always looked for imports from here. That was always like the big deal because you were special. Those records were limited in quantity and you could only find them in certain shops. And if you found, a good example would be like Soul to Soul when they first came out.
Okay.
And if you got your hands on that, it was kind of like a big deal. And then it got issued later on a U.S. label on Virgin, but the UK pressing was like golden. And there's so many instances of that happened over time, and it still does. So.
I have to say, Jazzy B and Soul to Soul, before they made I have been to the clubs where he was sort of like, do you want to touch me?
Nice.
Like really,
nice.
Because it was massively changed the sound of music, if you like, didn't he? He just had his own flavour, and he just sort of like got hold of it, and he just sort of like Karen Wheeler sort of like doing her thing, and it was very London.
Yep.
Very London.
Very London.
Very London.
Very London.
But then they say, because the Americans say, oh no, you British came over and you took all our music. So when you go over there and you ask them, you're looking for things. Because I think the northern scene was very sort of, everybody went out there and they wanted all the 7 inches. And
it's interesting. The whole northern scene thing is it's such a big deal now amongst record collectors and 45 collectors. It's a term that I definitely wasn't familiar with forever, and I think it kind of became a trend, to call that genre of soul northern, but a lot of people that are into that style don't even realize where it comes from, where it originated, which is the north of England.
Yeah.
Manchester being one of the main areas. Because at home it's just like soul music.
Soul music.
You call it northern soul, but it's like north of what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's been so many different trends. We have like modern funk and modern soul and modern boogie and boogie. It's all just relative. It all relates back to soul and black music, and it is what it is.
Do you like to be called a producer of music, or do you like to be called a DJ?
Both. I started off as a DJ though. That's my first love. I think I'll always have an affinity for getting in front of a crowd and playing music and watching people move. And I travel so much, and I miss the studio sometimes. I miss actually going in and making music, because they kind of work hand in hand. You make the music, and then you want to play in the club, play the music that you've made in the studio in the club, and see how it translates. I travel so much. I mean, every other weekend I'm on the road, and family life, it kind of takes away from being in the studio. But I am a producer as well. I love making music. I'm a very creative person. There's always music playing in my head. And my most creative moments are like in the morning. Sometimes I'll just wake up and something will be, music just be going, whether it's a song that already exists or something that I need to get out of my system to create, and it doesn't always happen gets frustrating.
I was going to say, so how do you do that? So if you've got this in your head, what do you do? How do you take that from here?
Sometimes if it's a melody, I'll just whip out my iPhone and sing it into the phone. You know, save that if I can't get to the equipment in time. And other times I'll try to run in the studio and just lay something down real quick. But you know, it doesn't always work in my favor. Sometimes things will just leave me, you know, which is crazy. I'll have this crazy thing going, and I'm like, I gotta get it out.
Yeah.
And if I have a conversation with somebody, my wife or whatever, or if I listen to something else, whatever I had in my head vanishes. This happens to me a lot. Oh, I'll dream music too.
Do you dream?
Yeah, I dream music too. You know what? The craziest thing that happens to me is dreaming about being in a record shop, looking at records that don't exist.
Because they're all in your head.
All in my head, like a physical record. Like I'll be playing something in a store somewhere, and the record, I wake up like, what the hell? What was that?
Really?
It just doesn't exist. It's the weirdest thing.
Frustrating.
It's bugged out.
Yeah. Well, I can't help you with that one. If I had a solution to sort of like, there must be something, because you can't even sort of like wake up and put it down on a piece of paper.
No, it just doesn't exist. You know. Hey, but I guess that's just the way my brain works. I'm quite a fanatic when it comes to music. Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Because you were totally amazing out there.
Thank you.
Because he came and watched you. You were feeling it.
Yeah.
And you rocked the crowd. And
Thank
I want
you.
to say thank you very much for coming and joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And sharing your thoughts. And we'll all be waiting for that
remix
record that's in your head that's going to come out. And your new remix. Oh, I just don't know. When you've got a crowd and they're all singing, as soon as you just pull the volume down, do you know what I mean? Everybody's singing. It's like, it's good for a DJ. So
yeah.
thank you again.
Thank you.
For making the job easier.
It's what I live for.
It's what you live for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
My pleasure.
Thanks.